In the heart of Nairobi, nestled quietly on Manyani Road, lies the Vatican's diplomatic mission to Kenya, known officially as the Apostolic Nuncio. But far from being a mere political outpost, it is the launching pad for one of the most dynamic ecclesiastical figures in Kenya today, Archbishop Hubertus van Megen, the Apostolic Nuncio. Archbishop Hubertus van Megen was officially appointed as the Apostolic Nuncio to Kenya on February 15 in the year 2019. He succeeded Archbishop Charles Daniel Balvo, who was later appointed as the Nuncio to the Czech Republic. Van Megen has since played a pivotal role in strengthening ties with the Vatican and Kenya, both diplomatically and spiritually. As the Pope's official representative, Van Megen wears two hats: a diplomatic envoy to the Kenyan government and a spiritual guide for the local church hierarchy. He facilitates the appointment of bishops, helps establish new dioceses like the recently inaugurated Kapsabet Diocese, and acts as a liaison between Rome and Kenya's vibrant Catholic community. In many countries, including Kenya, the nuncio also serves as the dean of the diplomatic corps, symbolizing the Vatican's commitment to peace and dialogue. Archbishop Van Megen is not afraid to push boundaries. He's encouraged younger bishops to step up and questioned old hierarchies that slow progress. His message is clear: the church must prioritize evangelization and social responsibility over internal structures. This fresh approach reflects Pope Leo XIV's vision for a more inclusive, dynamic Catholicism. Behind the scenes, the nuncio plays a pivotal role in shaping church leadership. He gathers confidential recommendations from clergy and submits vetted candidates to the Vatican's Congregation for Bishops, and oversees the final appointment by the Pope himself. For instance, he facilitated the appointment of Bishop John Kiplimo Lelei to the newly established Diocese of Kapsabet, a decision that reflects the church's growth in Kenya. As a seasoned diplomat, Van Megen presented his credentials to the President of Kenya in 2019 and has remained a strong advocate for social justice. After recent Gen Z-led protests, he publicly called for dialogue and political renewal, aligning himself with the youth's demand for accountability and reform. His voice echoes the Pope's teaching on human dignity, care for the poor, and responsible governance.
Of course, there is a right to protest, but there is no right to damage property. There is no right to looting. There is no right to violence. So, therefore, I would call upon the youth, use that right of protest, but use it with care and prudence. The more one gets violent, the more problems you're causing also for yourself, in a sense. So I think it is also the growth of a democratic society in which both parties, that is government and citizens, need to come to terms with their rights and duties.
In July 2025, Van Megen made a resounding impact during his visit to Murang'a Diocese Education Day celebrations, a spirited gathering that honored academic excellence and uplifted the soul of the community. Held at the Sacred Heart of Jesus Cathedral grounds, the event drew thousands of students, teachers, clergy, and families from Murang'a and Kirinyaga counties. Van Megen delivered a stirring message: education is the heartbeat of society.
It is in society. In a sense, a teacher takes part and takes over, up to a certain extent, the role of the parent. Even though, and that has been a discussion even in my own country, sometimes the parent feels, let the teacher do it. Let the teacher take care of my son or my daughter. So father and mother are not really taking their own responsibility anymore. But once again, a teacher is like a second father, a second mother, and sometimes even, especially as teachers, you even feel it in your students, how sometimes they attach to you as nearly a father or a mother, and how important it is that you have your values clear, that you know about your responsibility, about your vocation in bringing up these young men and women into adulthood and help them to reach as high as possible, because they have to contribute to society.
He applauded Kenya's resilient learners and urged them to become agents of hope and transformation. The nuncio advocated for skills-based education, reminding students that greatness isn't confined in academics. Not everyone is a professor, but someone may be an exceptional plumber or artist.
I came to understand how important education and formation is. How important it is that you do your studies at school. But by the way, and that is equally important, I would say, that you, for example, are a good member of your scouts, or that you know how to play your music, or that you know how to serve Mass, or with all the activities, because all this forms you as a person, makes you more a grown-up.
A new 2.3 million Kenya shilling scholarship fund was launched, sourced from the diocesan education works to support bright students facing financial hardship. Differently abled learners were celebrated, their talents acknowledged with dignity and joy. Using Education Day platform, Van Megen also appealed to the government to engage youth voices, emphasizing peaceful coexistence built on justice and mutual understanding. His presence transformed a ceremonial event into a moment of national reflection. Since his appointment as Apostolic Nuncio to Kenya in February 2019, Archbishop Hubertus van Megen has made a profound impact across spiritual, diplomatic, and social spheres. He has consecrated or co-consecrated over a dozen bishops in Kenya, including Bishop Peter Kimani Ndungu of Embu Diocese, Bishop John Kiplimo Lelei of Kapsabet, and Bishop Wallace Ng'ang'a Gashihi of Nyahururu. He's played a key role in the creation and strengthening of dioceses such as the newly established Kapsabet Diocese. He lauded Bishop Peter Kimani's 23-year prison apostolate, comparing it to a life sentence of service and likening it to the missionary work of St. Paul.
Dear Father Peter, God, through His Church, has chosen you to become a bishop. And today, you will be made into the Bishop of Embu. But always keep in mind that you are not the bishop for a particular group of people, so to say, one tribe, or a particular mountain, or a particular class, or a particular conviction. When made a bishop, you're always bishop of the universal church.
Van Megen's leadership as Apostolic Nuncio is defined as one word: connection. He connects the Vatican to the streets of Nairobi, bishops to believers, and faith to action. Whether it's fostering new dioceses, addressing political injustices, or celebrating the brilliance of young minds, he is redefining what it means to represent the Church, not just in robes, but in real life.